Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be our weekend tarot card reading for December 2nd and 3rd. This is also the full moon reading because December 3rd is the full moon. So that's what we can expect from this reading. That's what it's about. I know I have been missing a couple readings. I've just been really busy. It's winter here in the United States, in the Northern Hemisphere, and this is usually the most busiest time of year for me, between just taking care of different things with my business. So it's bound to be that I'll miss a few readings and stuff like that for the channel. So just one thing I want to mention about this full moon before we get into the reading is that this is a super moon, which means the moon is at its closest approach to the earth, and Mercury retrograde is starting on December 3rd, the same day as the full moon. So it's a really potent energy that we're heading into, but it's also kind of chaotic with the Mercury retrograde thrown in the mix. So not to say that that's a bad thing, because chaos is given a bad rap, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of positive things that can come out of chaos. All art and creativity necessarily comes from a chaotic energy, because it's an energy of potential and potentiality. So just be aware, though, that is the energy that we're going into. So let's go ahead and get into the card reading. Now I align myself with the Most High God and the Holy Spirit, Hekterios. Please communicate the truth to me through these cards, so that I may be guided for the highest good of all. Thank you, and so to be. Please give us your divine guidance for this weekend and for this full moon especially, so that we can use these energies for our highest good, greatest success, and joy. Thank you, and so to be. Okay. So the first card that we have, the High Priest. I'm trying to get the camera to focus for y'all. I guess it doesn't want to. Okay, so this is an energy of, in this sense, in this reading, I feel it's an energy of intimidation. And that, to me, makes sense with the astrology, with this being a really potent full moon, and also being in cahoots with the Mercury retrograde. And that energy, I feel like it is intimidating to approach this kind of powerful, chaotic time period with such a big thing as the super full moon, really highlighting it and amplifying it. I feel like that is intimidating, but that's to be expected. Anything that shakes up the status quo is bound to be a little bit uncomfortable. And I feel like that's what we can expect. And I feel like that's fine. Sometimes we need to be, pushed past our comfort zone. And sometimes things need to be shaken up in our lives, because that is, as I mentioned, a catalyst for change and for growth. These times of, or rather these experiences of confrontation and challenge and opposition, they are very much the thing that propels us forward and fuels our growth and our ascent. And kind of without them, there wouldn't be anything. There would just be nothing but stagnation and inertia. If there was nothing, pushing us or propelling us to rise higher, if there was nothing motivating us, if we had everything that we ever wanted, if everything was going perfectly all the time, there would be nothing else. It would just be this very stagnant and monotonous kind of existence with no goals or no higher aspirations, because everything's already perfect. And that's just not how reality is. That's not how reality works. And I think it doesn't work that way for a reason. I mean, there is a higher purpose, there is a higher goal, there is a higher aspiration that is always calling us forward or pushing us forward towards the highest good of all. And so because of that reason, there has to be these lower sort of negative or chaotic experiences that help us to grow towards that end. I hope I'm verbalizing this and vocalizing this clearly as it's coming into me right now and as I understand it. But I feel like, to relate it all back to this reading, with this full moon and with this Mercury retrograde, it's going to be kind of potent, more so than usual because of the super full moon. And I feel like it's going to really shake things up in our lives. I read somewhere that this Mercury retrograde is supposed to affect relationships more so than other stuff. So take that with a grain of salt, because I read that from another astrologer. This isn't from my own information, but that might be the case. And I feel like that also does fit with the High Priest card coming up, because this is very much a card of interpersonal relations. Excuse me. The status quo, feelings of intimidation in relationships, challenges that might come up. This is also the holiday season, so that kind of brings in a lot more of activity in the social strata. So I feel like, anytime that there is increased social interaction and activity, there is always potential for added tension and stress and conflicts, as well as a lot of good things, but there is also the added aspect of drama. So if that is popping up this weekend and going forward from this full moon in general, just, I feel, just pace yourself, take a step back from things, try to look at things from a higher perspective of what is the situation teaching you, or what is a possible lesson that you can take from the situation in general. Just take that perspective and approach, and see how you can take like the higher path and the higher road in these things as they come up. I kind of went on a really long tangent with that card, but let's see what comes up next. The next card that we have is the Page of Cups. This is a very beautiful energy, and I feel like it's the perfect follow-up card to everything I said so far. The Page of Cups is the card of inspiration, and it is a card of creativity. It's concerning your hopes and dreams and your creative passions, and the things that inspire you and motivate you. So I think that makes perfect sense that it came after this card, because this is a card of pushing the limits in certain things and areas. And remember, like I said, a lot of times that is what eventually inspires you or motivates you. So this card, the Page of Cups, is about that inspiration and motivation coming in, and how you need to pay attention to that and use it. Make use of it. It also talks about an energy of psychic connection in that aspect of dreams and stuff like that. So I feel like this, maybe some drama that arises, could be a means for you to make maybe deeper connections with others. Maybe some sort of drama or attention that pops up could expose some deep information about other people, or some of their internal soul wounds or traumas can be exposed by drama that is really like a cry for help, or just something that is just exposing some deep issues that person has. And maybe this could be an opportunity for you to kind of heal that person, or instead of responding in kind to dramatic conflict, you could respond with kindness or some other creative way or outlet that can bring healing rather than adding to whatever is going on. So if that message applies to you, there's the message from the cards in there. The next card that we have is the Queen of Coins, which once again flows perfectly with this reading so far. The Queen of Coins is a very protective energy, and embodied in this woman or in this person, whoever it represents, someone who looks out for the best interests and the highest good of other people. So, I think that fits perfectly with what I said with these two cards, because, if someone is lashing out or causing drama or conflict, look deeper into it. Look for the reasons why they're doing what they're doing. Look for, the deeper psychological or emotional reasons why someone is lashing out or acting out. Because there is potential, with the information that you gather, there is potential for you to take the higher road, take the higher path, and bring healing to that person or that situation. especially if it is someone that you do care about, if it is a family member or something like that, or just a really close friend. Sometimes people, who don't have family or social connections will get really, uptight during this season, because it is the holiday season when other people are connecting more with family and stuff like that. And they might be jealous, or they might just feel pain because they don't have those kind of connections. And so they're more prone to, be in a negative mood during this time of year. And so if that's the case, take that into consideration. If you do happen to have some sort of negative experiences or situations pop up with other people, with the added influence of the Mercury retrograde, this month in particular, I believe it goes through December 22nd or the 24th, somewhere around there, right up to Christmas. So, if anything pops up with that energy, just know that it's from the reasons I've mentioned. So, be aware of that. Have your correct stance and approach to these situations as they come up, and try to let it be this Queen of Coins energy. Have the highest good of others in mind, in general, as well as your own highest good, of course. Just have the highest good of everyone involved, and of the situation. And, if this card isn't you, it could be someone else that offers that energy, that protective energy, that energy looking out for everyone. And, that person might step in, or you might have to go to them for help. But I feel like for the most part, this energy is potential to be representing you as we go forward. So, yes, to summarize this reading, I think that it's trying to warn us that there could be potential for a lot of conflict or just chaotic energy in general, tension, stress that is typical to this time of year. But it's going to be a little bit amplified because of the Mercury retrograde and because of the super full moon kicking it off. So, with all of that in mind, just go forward with this approach of, you know what's happening and you know why it's happening. So you can take the stance of someone who's on a higher perspective, looking down on the situation, rather than being caught up into the drama or into the negative things that happen. So I don't want to say that this is going to be an entirely negative month or anything like that. I feel like this energy will be focused this weekend and in the few days preceding and following the full moon. It should smooth out as the month proceeds. And even though the Mercury retrograde is lasting for this whole month pretty much, I do feel like the most intense parts of it will be here at the beginning, and things will smooth out further into it. And just remember to, act in this Queen of Coins energy throughout. So thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you take all the messages that apply to you and use them. And I also hope that you take the energy of the full moon and you use it. Maybe do some protection work for you and your family going forward for the rest of this month and the rest of this year. I will see you all in the next videos. Hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.